Friends, good evening. Thank you for joining us this week to another Gnostic Lab of Practical Application. Tonight, we're going to do a practice with the mantra Wu. Samael, in his writings on his book, The Buddha's Necklace, he states, Wu Wen chanted his mantra continuously. He desired nothing, and in nothing he reasoned. And as a consequence, by chanting this mantra Wu, he reached the enlightenment. Look at the story. With the letter U, he imitated the sound of the wind in a mountain ravine and the sound of the sea crashing against the beach. Wu Wen knew how to intelligently combine meditation and sleep. Wu Wen vocalized this mantra mentally and thought of nothing. Whenever some desire or memory or thought sprang up in his mind, he did not reject it, but studied, analyzed, and comprehended it in all levels of the mind, later forgetting it totally and definitively. Wu Wen chanted his mantra continuously, desiring nothing and thinking nothing. Whatever desires or thoughts surfaced in his mind were duly comprehended and later forgotten. The repetition of the mantra was not interrupted. So we have some very fundamental keys on this particular practice of meditation and the use of the mantra Wu. Now some may wonder, what is so special about Wu? Well, the goal here is to bring the mind into a state of quietness that in the calmness of the mind itself, the lack of action and projection from the ego allows the consciousness to emancipate. That means that the consciousness would have an opportunity to leave the bottle of the ego, to break free from that prison, and even if it is for just a fraction of an instant, get the experience of that thing that is known as the illuminating void. And what are the keys that we get to do that? Well, right here. Well, first is, what is the way that this mantra sounds? Well, some of us, as we have done this before, we have started by singing the mantra Wu, and we have verbalized silently like this, Wu, Wu. But that has resulted in insufficient. We have come to realize that this mantra works best when it's played mentally, when it sounds exactly like when the wind is flowing through a dense forest. And we can use this as a visualization to see those winds bringing about a calmness, as if they were carrying with them every possible distraction. So the mantra, sounding like that, is vocalized mentally. And while you do that, you task that mind with the product that is the mantra, so that there are no thoughts of anything. However, some thoughts will push through and they will show up. So whenever one of those emerges, and here is then the second key, don't fight the thoughts. Don't strain yourself running after them. Limit yourself to contemplate it. And as you do that, as you perceive them, because we will open ourselves to the principle of spontaneity, whatever vision comes with it, whatever inspiration comes with it, meaning whatever spiritual reality you perceive about that thought, whatever intuition comes with it, whatever significance, whatever reason that comes without the logical process of the mind comes with it. Embrace that based on the principle of spontaneity as a message that is coming from the innermost. And with that, you can comprehend it without having to be comparing, without having to be thinking, without having to be looking at other memories that will eventually distract you. And as you do this, just allow it to go. See yourself as if it disintegrated within that mysterious airs of the mind. And the third thing is, chant this mantra continuously. As you are in a deep relaxation state, with the silent word, vocalize that mantra so that it never stops. This is what we learned from Samael's writings in his book, The Buddha's Necklace. But then again, the mantra sounds just like that. Imitate the sound of the hurricane. Imitate the sound of the wind just flowing through the mountain. And we're going to do this after we have relaxed the physical body. When we have sought to create a good balance between the vigil state and the sleep state, because we want to be 50-50, 50% awake, 50% asleep. And we're going to allow this mantra to continue singing continuously. We will empower the consciousness to observe and comprehend those thoughts. And this is how we will allow ourselves to spend that exercise of meditation. There is a really nice soundbite that you can get in this website. Now, this is not a website that is Gnostic in any way. However, this is called soundbible.com, and they have this particular page where there is wind blowing, and it sounds beautifully like this mantra will. So I will encourage you to, as you're seeing it on the screen, to just go ahead and type that real quick in your browser so that you can just let it play as you're meditating. And for those of you who are listening to this practice recorded, we will include a link for this as part of in the description of our YouTube video. So go ahead and give yourself a minute or so to be able to capture that URL and to bring it active on your screen. Then let's go ahead and continue. Now that we have this sound of the wind flowing through the dense forest in the background, let's go ahead and start by closing our eyes. And let's go ahead and do a brief relaxation of our physical body. Let's start by taking a deep breath in 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And friends, let's go ahead and make ourselves aware, conscious of the sensations in our physical body. At this moment, there may be anything that creates any kind of discomfort. Let's go ahead and take care of that. And as we set those distractions aside, we take another deep breath in 1, 2. Let's make ourselves aware now of what has been our most prevalent emotional state. That one that is still lingering at this moment. Understanding what that emotion is, we already know that it is of vital importance. Because if we find ourselves in indifference, discontent, or frustration, if we find ourselves sad or uncomfortable in any way, we know that it's part of that continuum there is an opposite emotion that is identical in its kind. So if we feel ourselves at this moment indifferent, well, we know that it's an opposite emotion that is associated with being inspired, with being interested. And because they are both identical in nature, perhaps the use of our willpower can help us just reorient ourselves and allow to manifest now those things that are superior, constructive, dignifying to the consciousness. If we happen to feel sad or frustrated, a bit angry with the situations of the day, well, identical in their kind are kindness, compassion. And we can use our willpower, our objective imagination, and vibrant harmony so that we can help polarize ourselves in that higher condition. Knowing this, we can always step aside and just contemplate the swing of the pendulum, and we know that that empowers us. So being aware of our emotional state, finding ourselves comfortably in our chair. We take a deep breath in 1, 2. And we invoke our innermost by saying, Divine Father, Father of mine, you who are my true being, you who are my eternal God, here humbly at your presence asking for your contribution. Asking Divine Father that you officiate in this practice. Allow us to imitate deep within our mind the sound of the wind as it flows across the mountain. Let it be you who officiates so that we may experience mental silence and quietude. Empower our consciousness so that it may perceive with the greatest clarity whatever images, thoughts, memories come into mind, and instantaneously understand their significance. Immediately comprehend their spiritual reality. And to allow those memories to dissipate themselves. Let's allow those thoughts to dissipate so that we may forget them and give us the opportunity of experiencing that thing which is the illuminating void. We ask of this in your holy name. So be it. Mantra Klim Krishnaya. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopihana Vajavaya Swaha. Again for practice. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopihana Vajavaya Swaha. Now let's go ahead and relax our physical body. We bring the attention at our toes, our heels, our ankles, our shins, our calves, our knees. We bring the attention of the consciousness to the underside of our thighs, our hips, and at the base of our spine. We feel that gentle softness that comes from a state of relaxation, and we receive it with gratitude. Focusing that attention of the consciousness at the base of our spine, we invoke of our Divine Mother and ask, Divine Mother, we ask of you with our soul and our heart, that you bring unto us the Hermetic seal. We ask that you close all doors that we may have opened to negative emotions, to inferior thoughts, to ill wills. We ask that you bring of your sacred fire into any one of those, and that you bring calmness. Let it be you, Divine Mother, the one who opens doors for the experiences of the innermost, for conditions and opportunities that are superior and edifying to the consciousness. We bring that attention of the consciousness once again to the base of our spine. And as it moves upwards, we relax our abdomen, our stomach, our heart, our lungs, we see the relaxation of those muscles in the middle of our spine, our chest, shoulders, from our shoulders to our elbows, to our wrists and our hands. We allow our breathing to flow effortlessly. To be almost imperceivable. And in an attitude of gratefulness and satisfaction, we allow the attention of our consciousness to focus at the base of our skull, in that space behind the head, right in between the ears. And as it continues to expand, we relax our jaw and our tongue and our lips. We relax our eyes and our eyelids. We relax the muscles of our forehead. We allow that relaxation to reach the crown of our head. And as that expands into the infinite heavens, From the realm of the innermost, we allow that gentle blue light to descend and penetrate and illuminate in deep within our head. Our creative larynx, our heart, our lungs, our solar plexus, our creative centers, the base of our spine, and our knees. Divine Father, allow us to experience and embrace the principle of spontaneity. Allow us to see and perceive with the greatest clarity, so there is no doubt that the consciousness perceives through you. Now we sing with our silent word the sound of the wind as it flows across the mountain. We contemplate our thoughts. We comprehend them and we forget them. Very well. Divine Father, we give you infinite thanks for this experience. We ask that you give us the longing, the decidedness to continue with these practices. We ask all of this in your holy name. So be it. Now let's wiggle our toes and our fingers just a little. And let's come back. All right. That went by pretty quick. So friends, this has been our practice today with the mantra Wu. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought you some inner silence and some good inner peace. To everyone, have a good night and may all beings be happy.